This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
You all ready for this?
This is a sham.
No.
Nope.
Y'all, just stop.
Get real.
Welcome to DBL. Hello, everyone. Looking good.
Hello.
Are you all ready?
We are ready.
Thanks for that transition. All right, welcome to DBL. Today is the American Heart Association's National Wear Red Day, which is why we're dressed like this. The Go Red for Women movement is meant to highlight the importance of heart health, since heart disease remains the #1 killer of women across the country. So for more information, we want you to go visit goredforwomen.org. It's so important. A lot can be prevented, so take a look at that. We are starting off with a very strange story. Check this out. If you're not too sure what that is, the U.S. believes that's a Chinese spy balloon, and it is currently flying over Montana. The government reportedly considered shooting it down, but decided against the idea because they're worried about the debris. The Chinese claim it's a civilian airship used for weather research that was somehow blown off course, and say they regret its entry into U.S. airspace. So, what do you guys think of all this? I will say Montana has many missile silo locations, including in Malmstrom Air Force Base, nuclear missile silo base. What are we thinking?
I think China is coming out with their own version of Yellowstone, and they want to see how it's filmed. That's what it's doing. Yeah, so it's for entertainment purposes. That was my take.
Yeah. Is that your only take?
That's my own. No, to be quite serious, what would happen if we had a balloon somehow mistakenly go into China's airspace? What would happen to that? I don't know. I say shoot it down. Debris what?
Right. It's a balloon.
A cow or two, we slaughter them on the masses every day. Let's worry about a cow. I'm not buying it.
Well, I'm wondering.
Sorry, Sam, she's not here.
I'm wondering if they're worried about debris or if they're worried about what would happen if it was shot or taken down.
The afterwards.
Yes.
Right. Like, is there something else in it, or is there an,
Oh, like an explosion?
yeah,
wow.
like, who
Like a
knows?
plant?
Like, it's not. No one really seemingly knows. And also, why don't we know? I feel like I'm questioning national security.
Yeah, why isn't that ours?
I don't want to question.
It came into our airspace. Why is it? See, I wasn't going to go too far down the conspiracy hole, but you did. So let's go for the ride. It's Friday. I'm with you. I'm totally with you. There's no way that was an accident that it's in U.S. airspace. Not a chance.
Well, and also just the idea of like airspace in general.
Right.
You know, like the need to know what's in the air at all times.
You would think that's important.
Yeah, and why do we know about this before there's seemingly something being done? Like, we're just accepting China's word for what it is and the intention behind it?
Well, not actually, because I want to let you know, in a very big decision, the U.S. Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, am I saying that right? He was sent to go visit China. And that was going to be the first trip an American official had visited China in many, many years. He has postponed the trip as of this morning because we don't know what's really going on. So there is some worry here, but they do say the Department of National Defense did not say where the balloon was spotted or where it's heading. Do you think they should give us more info or let us just not know?
Well, yeah. What do you mean, let us not know?
Well, sometimes
we know too much now. Now we got to know everything.
Now we got to know the whole thing.
Honestly, that's very frightening that we're having this conversation and we don't know. Like, we don't know the intentions. We don't know what's actually on it. We don't know how long has it been in U.S. airspace. Why is it still
there?
Why
Exactly.
is it still there?
I think it's currently still there is what we're hearing.
What is happening?
Yeah.
But people don't care. Like, people don't, like, we care, we're curious, we're going down the rabbit hole, but I said it a million times in the show, it just gets nobody cares. You download TikTok onto your phone, I'll say it 100 other times. It's a Chinese app. If you download TikTok on your phone, it goes to every single phone and computer in your house and takes all the information off of every device in your home because you downloaded it one time off your phone. It has access to all of your devices.
Terrifying.
And you agree to that when you say, yes, 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 let me make a stupid video. Nobody cares.
Wow.
But China's getting all that information from us. For what? I don't know. Air balloons? I don't know.
Yeah.
Something's happening.
I
but
agree.
Nobody cares. Let's make funny videos. Let's make a television show.
Let's make a dance.
Yeah.
Let's do a dance contest. I would say, like, in the 80s, it was Russia, U.S. that was always, like, the rivals. And in this time and age, to me, China is the #1 basically rival we're dealing with in terms of technology and with weaponry and all of that. So we will keep a lookout on that for you. If we have any Montana viewers, please write us in as well. These are a couple of stories about banning various things that we want to discuss. Up first, we're going to go to Arkansas. Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders is set to now ban drag shows. She says it's to, quote, protect kids in the state from what she says are sexually explicit drag shows. The ban would really only prevent any drag performance in public areas where children are present. It will most certainly bring an end to any drag queen story hours like these where drag performers read children's books to kids in libraries. So what do we all think about this? We looked into any kind of connection between dangerous drag queen shows, drag brunches, and children being hurt. There seems to be no connection whatsoever. So if it's not about the kids, what is it about, Erica?
It's about making the connection between drag performers and child predators. It's not very difficult to figure that out. That's what they're attempting to do. They're attempting to say that people who are drag performers are also going to harm your children.
With no evidence whatsoever.
With no evidence. You know, it's interesting to me because anytime we have these like drag queen or drag show, hot issues in politics, I'm like, have you ever been to a drag show?
So much fun.
Like, I mean, it really comes across like you've never been and have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I remember our makeup artist, or our creative aesthetic director, Jure over here, who has been a drag performer.
Yep.
And there was a show that I was going to go to, and my niece and nephew were in town, and I called and asked if I could bring them. Now they were like, "Which show is it?" And I said which show I wanted to go to, and they were like, "Well, you can go to this one at this time with the kids, but you can't go to this one at this time because that one is catered to adults, and this one's catered to everyone." So I know Jure's over there standing by.
Jure, we miss Bayana and we want to see her back.
We'll come back.
We love you, Jure.
Yeah, but to me, it's really no different than if you go to a bar restaurant and you go in at a certain time and you can bring the family, and then at like 8 o'clock, they're like, "Oh, this is adults only now." It has nothing to do with the actual predatory behavior on children. If we want to talk about child predators, there's a lot of institutions that we continue to support that we can have that conversation for, I don't know, like centuries.
Yeah.
But when it comes to drag shows, that's the link. It's a dog whistle.
I was just going to say, so it's a stupid dog whistle. I always think, and I saw this in a meme, Jeff, it said, the only time I'd be scared at a drag brunch is if a guy showed up with a gun, like a white guy with a gun, because that's what we see when we have it. No drag queens have erupted in shootings. What do you think about that?
Well, white guy, Catholic, so knock that out. Yeah, so I probably shouldn't even speak here. But Jure, how many shows have you done in a public school over your drag career? How many have you done?
Public school?
Yeah.
Zero.
So you mentioned dog whistle. This is what this is.
Yeah.
What are you preventing? How many shows? Drag shows are there at public schools, right? You're doing this because you're in Arkansas. That's the way people think. First of all, when did she become governor? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, she did. She's following in her dad.
But you're trying to appease your public, right? By putting others down or thinking that there's some sort of predatory thing going on here. But how many shows are you canceling?
Right.
To be quite honest.
To be very fair. And let's just say Arkansas is the second worst gun laws in the country and the 8th highest rate of gun deaths. It's the second leading cause of death for children in Arkansas is gun violence.
Seems like there's other things going on.
What's the education?
I also was looking at the education, and it is also one of the lower ones in Arkansas. So maybe fix that instead of things that actually don't really happen. Up next, should there be a ban on the sale of tobacco products across the country? Oh. That is not, is that? Okay. A new CDC survey found that a majority of adults...
That was your tease voice.
Yeah, I know.
We need story-tory voice.
Okay, hold on. That a majority of adults in the country would support a move like this. What do you guys think about banning tobacco?
I think anytime we have these conversations about banning anything, people who are in positions of affluence or power will always get what they need. So yes, we can ban tobacco, but I assure you that people are still going to get their cigars. You know, prohibition, they banned alcohol, but the elite could still get their alcohol.
Absolutely.
Like there's always going to be a way. So it's like, I'm not like going to sit here and be like, yes to tobacco, it's the best thing ever. But I do think that just the way that people want their freedoms and civil liberties to be protected, it's the freedom of choice of what they want to do with their recreation or with their bodies.
I'm with you, and I don't like tobacco at all, but I certainly think that that is a personal choice. What do you think, real quick? Do you think it's a good idea?
Yeah, but it makes too much money. You're never going to completely get rid of it. It's still a moneymaker. America is still profiting off it. They don't care about the debts.
Yeah.
Oh, let's go. This is a DUI checkpoint. Are they worried about the lives, or do they need to make some pay for that month? I don't know.
Good point.
Speaking of conspiracy.
I know, love
There's a Chinese balloon above us.
There's a balloon everywhere. Coming up on DBL, our interview.
From China. That
From
sounded
China.
weird. I know, white guy, Catholic guy. Sorry.
Our interview with Yvette Brown. She's telling us all about her new stop-motion series. And Ellen DeGeneres and Portia de Rossi renew their vows. Wait until you hear who the officiant was. That's coming up next. Our viewers are talking about DBL. Yes!
I like that.
Leaves me speechless and like blushing.
Thank you.
That's emotional.
Do I want to sit there and watch them? Yes, I do. I think it's, you hit the button and talk at the same time.
Happy
I can't
Friday.
hear what happens. That's the only thing.
I'm just fixing this over here.
Yeah, I can't hear that.
And
Whatever you do
Tori
in
is
the beginning, I can't
communicating
hear
with the
you.
booth. So what
it
are
goes
your plans this Friday? I'm trying to pull up any comments y'all may
Oh,
have.
maybe are you
'cause I'm
grabbing the
sure
mic?
y'all love to comment. We love to hear it. Jamie says, what else will they ban next? The air that we breathe? Laughing? Smiling? Perhaps. Yeah.
I do think it might even go to, like, if that's a state ban on tobacco, it's not out of the woods that this would go to, like, a U.S. Supreme Court for a constitutional violation of if you can claim that that's a right that you have that the government can't come in and take. I imagine that might go farther. I also know tobacco and...
I doubt it.
Well,
It can
people
be
said it's a
utilized-
freedom of expression.
Well, and it's a herbal supplement for some people too. If you look at like different religions, they do herbal practices with tobacco. So
Yeah,
it's
they'd
like,
probably have religious, like, exemptions.
I'm curious, what's your take on the banning drag queen?
It's funny to me because, in a way, I can understand to a degree. So Miss Jessica, who had came onto the show a few years back, she goes to public schools and she talks on behalf of employment, on what she does as an entertainer, and that it is a career field. So I can understand to where some parents might have some discretion with that, or some might have questions about what she's talking about to some people. However, even with Miss Jessica, her drag name is Jessica Lahore, but she doesn't go into public schools and says she's Jessica Lahore. She's Miss Jessica. So it's all about correcting that.
Curating.
Exactly, curating that for your audience.
With common sense.
Exactly. I want to be up
3
here
minutes
doing
to
special
the
effects blood makeup on Daily Blast Live. Does that mean I can't do it? No, I can still get hired for that elsewhere, but I'm using it at a time and a place, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But
Welcome back. Portia de Rossi turned her 50th birthday party into a big surprise vow renewal ceremony for wife Ellen DeGeneres. So Portia walked out in the same dress she wore to their wedding in 2008.
Show off.
I know, she could still fit. And surprised Ellen, who was clearly shocked. Their longtime friend, Kris Jenner, officiated the ceremony, which was held in the home they just moved into last week. Portia said she wanted their friends to witness the renewal of her commitment to Ellen. Let's take a look.
You make me feel safe, cherished, loved. I love you. I will always, always love you.
Thank you for saving me every day. And I'm the lucky one. And wow, everybody,
So guests included just a few: Prince Harry, Meghan Markle, Katy Perry, and Jennifer Aniston. Vow renewals, thoughts?
This was a little bit of a flex, no? Should I say, want me to be romantic?
No,
What do
be
you mean?
you,
What
be
do you
you.
mean by it's a flex?
Okay, be me.
Yeah, be you.
Listen, do we need to see that? Does there need to be tape of this? I'm happy they did that. I'm happy they renewed their vows. I'm happy they're in love. But do we need to film everything? Like Kris Jenner's there, like it's got to be a spectacle. Why can't we just hear? You know what? They renewed their vows. We have no video because they didn't want to do that, but. You know, it's a beautiful
private.
thing. I don't like it. It's a little flex. Prince Harry was there. Get real.
Well, you know, they had friends there. But okay, here's a question. Does it make a difference to you? Because I can understand that, but if it was like a highly produced professional crew that came in and filmed it versus somebody just taking out their phone and filming it, like a snippet of it, does that make a difference to you?
I don't care. Yeah, to be quite honest with you, yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I think it's a little optics here, and just want to go back here.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think Ellen's gone through a rough patch, if we will, with obviously some news of her show.
Very true.
Right?
Very true.
And also people being fired for having terrible attitudes behind stage. Her talk show's ending. Twitch. Let's bring up Twitch. Her close friend and really a person she leaned on that show committed suicide. That's a terrible, terrible thing to have gone through. Perhaps there needed to be a levity and a lightness, and this was a good time for that. And love.
Yeah. I loved seeing Portia because I've often wondered, where is she? You never hear about her.
Let me tell you,
see her.
we are obsessed with her from Arrested Development.
I watch
we
her.
don't know why she's not in every comedy.
Yeah, I watch her all. Like Arrested's one of those things I watch like every night. It's Veep, Arrested, Curb Your
She's so
Enthusiasm.
good.
So I see her all the time.
Yes.
She's great.
I want her to do more things. Portia, come on the show. Huh? Coming up on DBL. That was weird. We talked with actress Yvette Nicole Brown all about her new stop-motion series called Shape Island, and it's a good interview. Stay tuned.
Erica's already off this.
Yeah, well, she's leaving. Did you not like my Portia?
Cases of the flu are on the rise nationwide. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention report flu activity is high or very high in at least 17 states, exceeding the agency's projection for this point in the season. When cases increase significantly above normal, the flu is considered an epidemic. On November 4th, Dr. Jose Romero, director of the National Center for Immunization and Respiratory Diseases, said the U.S. crossed the epidemic thresholds for flu. Soon after making the statement, online searches showed an increase in people wondering if it's normal for flu to reach epidemic status. So let's verify. Our sources are the CDC, the World Health Organization, Columbia University Mailman School of Public Health, and health information website Verywell Health. The CDC, WHO, and public health agencies around the world use the moving epidemic method to determine if a country is experiencing a flu epidemic. Each week, health officials look at the number of flu-related deaths that we've seen at this point in the season during the past 5 years. That data is averaged together, creating a baseline. Then, they look at how many deaths we are seeing currently. If that number is significantly higher than expected, then it's considered an epidemic. The CDC also reviews this data on a state and city level and can declare a local epidemic. Since flu tends to peak at different times and places, our sources say it's actually common to experience an epidemic during some months and then see normal flu activity during others. So, yes, it is normal for flu seasons to reach epidemic status. During the pandemic, there were 2 years when we had significantly fewer cases than normal because of social distancing, masks, and other precautions that have since ended. This means our baseline to determine an epidemic is lower than it may have been had COVID-19 never hit. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
Welcome back. Yvette Nicole Brown has joined a new cast of characters, and her new community is something special for the kids. We caught up with her earlier. It's a great interview. Take a look. Welcome to DBL. You look fantastic. You do. We were commenting how cute you look. All right.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Shape Island is an animated series, right? That's educational, which I already love. What were some of your initial thoughts, though, when you first signed on? You were narrating every episode.
Yeah, this is my first time being a narrator, and you know, the show is very peaceful. If you listen, if you watch the show, you come in, it's like a nice warm hug whenever you decide to watch. And there's so many different lessons that are good for kids, but also for adults too. I learned a lot rewatching Shape Island.
Ooh. They all love different shapes and stuff.
Yeah,
yes.
I think we learn a lot. Like when I look over my nieces and nephews, I'm like, oh, I did need that reminder. Thank you for the refresher, 4-year-old.
Yes.
So how do the characters in Shape Island represent diversity?
Oh gosh, so we have our circle, our square, and our triangle. And circle is the one that's kind of all-knowing. She's been around a long time. She's like the expert. Square is a little nervous. He gets a little nervous and doesn't want to hurt anybody's feelings. And he's very particular. And triangle is kind of crazy and weird, and you don't know what he's going to do or he's going to say. And so you imagine those three types of people, shapes rather, together on this island. They have to learn how to coexist and how to take care of each other and love each other. And it's what we all need to have in our lives right now as the world is so crazy.
Yes.
I was just really digging just that animation.
The stop motion, right?
That looks fantastic. First of all, you are from Cleveland. My entire family's from Cleveland. Cavs, shout out. Shout out Amina, who's definitely watching. Love you. Now let's get to this. I do. I love Amina. Now, what are some ways that you learn to accept people's differences, growing up in Cleveland?
You know, I kind of feel like we're all doing the best we can.
Right.
Right? Most of us are really striving every day not to be a problem and not to destroy anybody. So if you look at people through that lens, then you can find a little bit of grace no matter what's going on in the world, right? I think when you think that everyone should be like you and everyone should think like you is when we get into trouble. And, I'm from Cleveland. It's a melting pot of different cultures and different foods and all that. So I grew up just loving everything and loving everybody. And I try to extend that in every show I choose to do and everywhere I go.
Cleveland people, good people.
I think this is a great idea. Shape Island allows adults actually to have new conversations with the children in their lives. Have you been able to do this as well?
Yes, I don't have any kids myself, but I feel like I'm the mother to the world. So I try to always use these lessons when I'm on Twitter or on Instagram and I'm talking about things. I have a sign behind me that says be kind, because we just need to be more gentle with everybody. And if you learn to accept and understand people's differences like Shape Island teaches you, then you can find a way to move through life a little gently, a little more gentler.
Yeah,
more gentler. Yeah, whatever. We're all working together today, guys. It helps you just be a better person and to be a better, friend and family member to everyone. I just think it's important to see people where they are and to love them as they are.
Beautifully said. As a mom to 2 kids, I'm so happy that we have shows like yours. If you were to identify with any of these shapes, who would it be?
That's a good question, yeah.
I think I'm a little bit of all of them. I'm a bit of a class clown like Triangle. I'm very nervous and I want everybody to be okay like Square. And I'm a bit of a know-it-all like Circle. I think Circle handles her know-it-all tendencies a little better than I do, because I go, I'm right, you need to listen to me. She goes, maybe we should consider this, So I think I could learn a little bit from each one of them, and I think all of us have a little bit of Circle, Square, and Triangle in us.
I love it.
Oh my
Yvette,
goodness,
thank you so much for joining us today. DBL Nation, all episodes of Shape Island are now available to stream exclusively on Apple Plus TV. Thank you so much, Yvette. Congratulations.
Thanks for having me, everybody.
Mazel. We'll be right back.
Anytime.
Some people need a push.
And I actually worked out for 30 days straight.
To put health first.
I followed an optimal wellness plan.
But what Donnice Tyler needed,
did that for my 50th birthday,
was a pause.
I was just really doing a lot at work and just going and going and going.
The hardworking, faithfully volunteering, always moving mother of 2 was stopped in her tracks by a pain in her chest after a school meeting last fall.
And I was like, there's no way I'm having a heart attack. I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do. But then I started feeling lightheaded. And I was like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna have to go sit down. And thank goodness I was there with a bunch of other mothers.
Those other moms pushed her to get to the hospital, where she learned it was a heart attack, specifically a spontaneous coronary artery dissection, SCAD.
I always thought the signs of a heart attack were just the pain in your arm, and you kind of like fall out, Who knew that I would be able to just be up and about and talking and just not feeling myself. And I had a heart attack, just standing there.
So what is a SCAD heart attack and what are the signs? We checked with Johns Hopkins Dr. Aaron Mikos and the American Heart Association.
It really is a sudden event.
SCAD occurs after a tear in heart tissue blocks the artery. It's more common in women. Hormonal influences, stressors, and a history of any other heart issues, like during pregnancy, make it more likely, even among people who are otherwise healthy now.
Although women do get chest discomfort the same as men in the setting of a heart attack, it's not always sometimes pain. It can be pressure or squeezing or gripping. It can be in the arm arm or the jaw. But women more commonly have often other associated symptoms: fatigue, shortness of breath, nausea, and abdominal pain and back pain. And sometimes some of these other symptoms can be distracting.
Now Donise meditates, has learned the art of saying no, and attends cardiac rehab 3 times a week to get her heart pumping safely.
They are able to monitor me.
But what really gets her blood flowing?
I'm trying to spread the word, get it out there, just so people are aware.
What would you want women to know about your story?
Pay attention to your body and get checked out.
With your Verify, I'm Abby Larico.
A video on TikTok is racking up millions of views, claiming a big change is coming to the shopping experience at Walmart.
Starting February 1st, Walmart is going to charge you $1 to take out their carts.
So, is that true? Is Walmart charging a fee to use shopping carts? We'll verify using these sources. What the video is actually showing is not a fee, but a deposit system. In some places like Europe, in order to unlock a cart from the corral, you often need to insert a coin. When you return the cart, you get your coin back. It's a small incentive for people to not just leave their carts in random places. It's not very common in the US, though some stores like Aldi use it. We checked with a Walmart in Portland, Oregon, and they told us they have no plans to implement such a system. The video in question was actually taken at a store in Canada, as the creator explained in a follow-up post. Walmart confirmed to us that they do use the deposit system at some stores in Canada, but even then it's not a fee since you get the coin back when you return the cart. So we can verify, no, Walmart is not charging a fee to use shopping carts. With your Fast Fact, I'm Casey Decker.
Today's sandals word of the day is resort. Watch DBL every day for a word of the day. Then enter at dailyblastlive.com/sandals for your chance to win a 4-day, 3-night escape for 2 to beautiful Jamaica.
Ooh, well, speaking of hot temperatures, welcome back. With freezing temperatures affecting the roads, we've got some tips on how to drive safely in icy conditions. That's today's Auto Alert, sponsored by Ox Car Care. That scared me so much, that music. First up, if you have the ability to stay home, do that. But if not, avoid accidents by driving under the speed limit on slippery roads. Next, make sure you increase your distance between the car in front of you to about 10 seconds and avoid lane changes that are unnecessary. Lastly, in case you do skid, do not panic. Let your foot off the gas and turn the wheel in the same direction of your car's back end. Ox Car Care is dedicated to providing you with an amazing auto protection plan experience that works for your budget. If you're looking for better car care, give them a call at 1-800-687-1821. Now, if you guys didn't know, it's been like 0 and below here for the past couple of days. This weekend should warm up a little. What are we doing for the weekend?
I'm going to LA.
Oh, really? Is that for the NAACP?
Yes, it's the nominees luncheon. So it's like the first big event for the NAACP Image Awards, and it's my first time, and I'm so excited. I'm very nervous. But
Erica,
so
are you bringing your parents to the awards?
I'm going to bring my husband to the awards, but I'm bringing my parents to other events that are happening.
They must be so proud.
Yeah, I love them.
We're cavelling. That's how you say it in Yiddish. We're cavelling over Erica over here.
What are you doing this weekend?
I'm probably going to cross stitch by the fire.
Nice.
DBL's new every day. We'll see you same time, same place, money. Be good to Monday. Be good to yourselves. Be good to others, and stay safe. Look up for weather balloons.